Okay, here we are, phase two. This layer is dried now. I sprayed it, let it drip. If you notice the drips in here, and then I took a paper towel and lifted the water off the paint, revealing this new layer. So we had the regular gessoed canvas. I did a whole bunch of colors, as you saw in the previous video. Then I sprayed it and lifted the colors off to reveal these streaks. So I'm going to keep it in this portrait mode. This is a, how big is this canvas? Not even sure. This is probably a 16 by 20 maybe. Let me see what it is. This is a smaller piece. I worked on larger pieces in the previous couple of months. So this is 16 by 20, yeah, 16 by 20. As you can see, I have done larger pieces, as you can see back here. And I also have about 4 or 5 over here. So I've done some larger pieces. This is not one of my larger pieces. This is a piece that I'm going to be using to sell as opposed to gallery museum quality. But anyhow, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put a lighter layer on here and do the same process, smearing it with my gloved hands and then lifting it off with the paper towels after I smear it together. But I'm not gonna have any semblance of final design. As you can see where I'm going, judging by my previous images, I'm going towards cosmic. As a matter of fact, this painting's already been named Cosmic number 35. You see right there, I've named it number 35. And so I want to keep it with my blues up on top. You can see here, this is the blues. Then I have my lighter areas here with reds down below. So I'm going to concentrate now with creating a lighter area in here of some design, I don't know. I do have my Hubble Space Telescope images that I will go to for references to give me some ideations of where I'm going with this. Look, I'm wearing 2 different gloves. Anyhow, we're going to try this now by doing this without any reasoning or form or rhyme or reason. And I'm just going to go in there and just put this in some, I don't know. Don't know. I'm going to put some water in my bucket. My bucket's empty. I'm going to put some water in my bucket. Listen. Just enough water to keep my brushes clean. So the last thing you want when dealing with acrylic paints is to have anything dry on anything you care about. Because once acrylic paint's dry on something you care about, you can stop caring about it because it will, it's gotta be, this is drying extremely quickly. So I'll just get in there and just move it around, just smear it in there, get it in there good. Now what I might want to do here, yellow is the quickest drying color of all the acrylic paints that I know of. And what I do is I might want to take some of this off of there because I want that blue to come through and I fucked it up. Fucked it up. I'm sorry for all you little children out there who don't like the language that I use here. I said I fucked it up because I did. What I did is I gave it a little bit too much. I didn't work on it fast enough. But anyhow, I'm going to put a little orange in there. And smear that around a little bit. So anyhow, we're just going to try and work this around here. And when I get in there, I got to give it a good spray. And I'll just show you how this process is done. It's a very easygoing process that I just wanted to create. See how I got the streaks coming? I don't know if you can tell those streaks. Here, I'll get you in there nice and tight. You can see the streaks. I want those streaks to happen, to form, and to basically have a little bit of a mind of their own type of thing. But as you can see, then what I do is I take the paper towel, drop it up there like that, and just run it down. You'll see the colors coming through on the paper towels, and then peel it off. And you get those streaks to come out. Okay? That doesn't smear the colors in there too badly, and it gives it a little bit of its own energy force. Okay? So now what I want to do is I want to come in there with my reds. I want to set the canvas up the same way and put my reds in there, and maybe not in the same kind of a design, because again, this is something where I'm going to be, I don't want to have any kind of a complete, I want a kind of randomness in here, because this painting, number 35, is going to have its own feel. Its own look, its own space. And what I'll do is I'll actually come through here with my paper towel and kind of smooth these edges a little bit. So it kind of moves in to the background color without having a very vibrant transition. I want the transition to kind of like flow together, but I want to keep that red in there because that red might come through on the final painting. I don't know yet, but I'm just going with it. You've noticed that this acrylic painting for me is very much a finger painting, a very tactile thing, a very emotional thing for me, where I can actually, maybe I wonder, is this, can you get a feel for me? Because I'm cutting when I walk in here, you can't see me, but that's okay. You're looking at this. So I want to take this outside and let it sit for a while in the sun and not formulate, but to fix itself like it is. So as you can see, the process here is very much an organic process with much flexibility and no sense of what is this going to look like when it's done. Now, if you come over here and you look at some of these bigger paintings here that I did, what you see is this one I did as a video, and it's kind of hard to tell what it looks like. It's kind of dark in here because it's a garage, because this is my garage that I converted into a studio because of the COVID virus. Now, this one here was something where it was a splash of colors, and these larger things, you'll see there's much more movement to them because I'm able to really free my body up to paint with very expressive gestures. And this one here was about, I think it was like 3 different ideas that came together in one piece, but it started the same way that the other one started, in that I was able to just get in there with the acrylic paints and just play. And then when it dried and I got a chance to look at it, and I would look at things sometimes in 3 different sessions of an hour or 2 while I'm reading or listening to music or something along those natures, where I will spend time with the painting and let it tell me where it wants to go. And I will balance that with looks at my Hubble Space Telescope coffee table books, which have so many images in them in bright, deep colors of the light years away cosmic entity that we know as the sky. But it gives me ideas that I can take and create little tidbits like this little piece right here, or this little piece right here. These are little star clusters that are probably about 7 million miles closer to us than the whole picture. But when you look at it, it just looks like it's sitting there in the middle of nothing. Another thing that I have done is I take some of these paintings and I create little star clusters in the paintings. Like you can see with this one here. I've created little star clusters all over the painting. And some of these star clusters are blue in nature. I put actual blue dots in here to indicate stars. And again, this one over here, I hope this is interesting to you because I find it fascinating. I actually put some streaks in here to show, ooh, look at that shadow, different pieces of cosmic dust that have accumulated in the skies. Here, you can see it better if I take the sun off it. You see the streaks over here. Those are not mistakes. I actually saw them in some of the Hubble telescope shots and wanted to incorporate them into my painting. Okay, let's see if this painting is dried. It's out here in the sun. Yep, it's dry. Good. So I have that bright red in the middle of this painting. Which top, which bottom? I think this is like this. Okay. Sorry. I had to get my bearings straight on this painting. So as you can see, we have a painting that has this bright red. God, that's going to be a pain in the ass, isn't it? Shit. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Watch this. Is that pretty good? Yeah, I took the glare off the painting by putting a rug on top of the window to the car that's in the driveway so you wouldn't be able to see it. So here we have a painting. This is a very deep red here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually mix a little bit of the, maybe I won't. Hold on. I'm questioning how to do this now. Because what I want to do is put a little blue, but I want it to be a light blue. I want to put a little light blue up in these areas over here. Now this is already too late to come in here and wet it down and scrub it off or do anything with the withdrawal. So what I'm going to do is put the, and let me go lighter. Let me just go lighter. Let's put the gloves back on. And I'm going to take this painting to a much lighter enjoyment. Hopefully it can be something that we can all find some enjoyment with. Here's that glove. By the way, with this COVID thing, I actually had gone out in December last year and bought a whole box of these black gloves. Latex, these are latex. These are not nitrile gloves, these are latex gloves. Montana cans. But they're very good gloves. They're the right thickness. They're the right, I can feel things with them. They're black, so I can see when I have too much paint in my hands, I can wash them off. But anyhow, I'm going to take this yellow here, and I'm just going to dab it in a couple of areas, just to give it a little bit of an idea of I'm just forming some areas here that kind of give me a there you go. Now this one I'm going to lift off. As you can see, I got a couple little streaks happening right up here. Hold it down, give it a couple dabs, take it off, hold it down, give it a couple dabs. Alrighty, there you go. So I've got the yellow infused inside the rest of the painting there, not to give it too much. There you go. All right, so now, what I'm seeing is this painting has too much red in it. So I'm going to go in there with my blue. Maybe I'll go in there with a darker, almost like a violet. I'm going to go in there with violet. I have this color here, diazonine purple. And I'm going to dab the corners where I want to have a darker area. And I think that's going to be right over in here. And I'm going to smear it around, smear it around, smear it around. And then what I'm going to do is take a little bit of white, like this. Here we go. There you go, look at that. Check that out. That's got some texture to it. That's got some movement to it. That's got something to it that I like. And what I've done is I've created this X pattern in the middle. But I'm going to create something where I'm going to put a, see what I did there? This is called composition. I just make this shit up, don't I? No, but really, anyhow, I don't know where this painting's going, but right now I'm gonna let it dry, see what it does. Now you notice I put white here, but there was still paint underneath that had not dried yet. So you can see that it's got some texture to it. It's got some colorations to it that are unlike anything I've ever seen before. And that's the idea, creating an art that is unseen before, but yet brings out memories, recognition, and connection to things that are in our heart and our mind and ultimately our soul. It helps you to recognize yourself in these paintings. I know this video is not a very good representation of the painting itself, but if you come to my studio, the River Arts District, or maybe just give me a call and come to the house here in the meantime and take a look. Back with more. Tebby Davis.